This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the anime Ghost Stories. Joel, sometimes an anime comes along that you truly ask yourself, what happened? Why is this the way that... So, for the longest time, I thought this was bad lip reading or whatever. Like, I didn't know that this was a coherent plot you could go watch on Crunchyroll, by the way. Super easy to find. I always thought that it was like a Djibouti dubs or something like that, just like incredibly...
Like Team 4 store, like Dragon Ball Z Bridge.
Yeah, like a parody. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this isn't real. This wasn't something that like a studio did. This was just some fucking guys.
Some frat bros. Not really frat bros, but just some dudes just hanging out.
Yeah, just a group of folks. And man, I was so wrong and so surprised.
This show is such... I can't even explain it. I want to say it's like a fever dream. It's not a fever dream. It is just, you watch it, especially nowadays, you watch it now and you're like, what were they thinking?
Who put this on television?
Exactly.
But before we get into all that, let's review that theme song.
Let's hit it. That's basically the gist of it.
Yep. It's the most anime part of this anime. So,
boy, ain't it?
It's, I feel like this is like a prank. Like, if somebody were to tell me that this came out on April Fool's Day and maybe they, like, the advertisement behind it was played straight, like, it's like, a new series from, ADV Studios or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, catch it tonight. And you'd be like, okay. But that's not what happened.
Dude, I can't imagine if I am like in the early 2000s watching this. Because we've been talking about these anime theme songs and how sometimes the theme song will fit the overall story or the feeling that the anime is supposed to give you.
Yeah.
It's because of the dub that this theme song is just like, what the hell is this theme song compared to what I'm watching?
I think it was just the original theme song.
It was like,
and so they just didn't dub that.
It makes sense for like the actual anime. Not the dub, just
if you
the
watch
anime.
the real story of it, because this has like a plot that is completely thrown away. But Joel, how did this get made? Well, I guess we're going to concentrate mainly on the dub.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about the original anime, Ghost Stories. It's actually a series of children's novels in Japan that was written by a guy named Toru Sumitsu. the closest thing I would say that we have in America to it is like, what's those ones? Are You Afraid of the Dark? Is that it? Or
Okay, yeah. Are Goosebumps?
no, I guess you could say Goosebumps. Yeah,
Goosebumps. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
there
I
was
can see
also
that.
there's also I forget that one like Ghost Stories to Tell or whatever that.
Oh,
one
Scary
thing.
Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I would say it's very similar to that one. It was just basically a children's horror book that was based off of like Japanese folklore.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty cool. So in it, basically these series of books became so popular to the point where they actually got a TV series in 1994, and then they got the anime that we are talking about today in 2000. The original anime was produced by Studio Puree and Aniplex.
Okay.
So from there, how did it make it over here, Andrew? Well, Fuji TV, they owned the distribution rights for this anime.
Yeah.
They approached ADV Films to produce a English dub. Now, they basically gave them 3 rules. So they turned over the anime. They said, "Hey guys, y'all make a dub, but there's just 3 rules we have when you make the dub. One is don't change the characters' names, including the ghost. Don't change the way the ghosts are slain, because that's all Japanese folklore. And finally, don't change the core meaning of each episode." Now, apparently that's all they told them. They was just like, "Hey, just make sure you get these 3 things, but whatever you want to do with it, it is up to you."
I have a quote from Greg Ayres.
Okay.
They were told to do whatever it takes to sell the show.
I could see that.
That's all that. Yeah, they were just. And I was also Stephen Forrester.
Yep.
Reworked the show to a pure gag dub. He threw out the original script, and so it just devolved from there.
It really feels like, as you're watching this, it really feels like they hired a bunch of comedians to be the voice actors, and they basically just told them, "Hey, we're not going to give you a script. Just go to the Wikipedia page, read what the episode's about, and just wing it from there."
That's kind of close when they said that the actors were called to record the scenes. It's like whoever got the first word out would set the tone for the scene. So it's almost like if it's not improv, it's incredibly impressive because they are saying whatever comes to mind.
So I think I know the quote you're referencing. It's the quote by Stephen Foster, who was one of the writers on it. Him and Lunkin Duran wrote the script for the English version, but
right.
they actually told the voice actors when they first started recording the show, it was like first come, first serve. You guys set the pace. And if any new voice actors came in on like, future episodes.
Oh, okay.
All of that stuff was like canonical in their version. So it's like they had their Bible where like these voice actors was just given free range to say whatever they wanted to. And people had to.
Yeah, they took advantage of that by.
I just want to know, like, when these 2 guys wrote the English script, why did I say it like that? Script for it. I want to know, like, did you actually say how you wanted these characters to portray themselves, or was it just the voice actors just went wild with it?
I think they were just told to go for it.
Oh man. And thank God they did that.
Yeah. You know, there is actually an alternative dub that was produced by Animax,
Okay.
which stayed true to the original, and I couldn't find it. The
Nope.
one that everyone knows and wants to watch is on Crunchyroll, the main anime network, at least
Yep.
in the States, and I think that that's hysterical.
Oh yeah. And this show only ran for 20 episodes. So it's not a I wouldn't consider this to be a successful anime. I would dare to say, if it was not for the ridiculousness of the dubbed version, no one would talk about this anime.
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause
there's no reason to talk about it. It would have just come and went.
It's kind of a hard anime to watch, honestly.
Oh, what do you mean, like animation wise or plot wise? Because obviously, dialogue wise, you know, this shit gets old quick.
It does get old quick. The dialogue was the only reason that I kept watching. So, like, to
Yeah.
me, the overall, and you know, maybe it's because it's talking about like Japanese folklore, and I mean, that's not my folklore, so it does nothing for me.
I do enjoy Ghost.
I do too.
I think Ghost. I think Japanese folklore ghosts are pretty interesting because there are so many rules behind their ghost. There are
True.
so many rules behind their ghost. It makes me kind of not believe in Ghost.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, if I died and I had to, like, if you die in Japan, do you have to follow all these fucking, because as far as I can tell, over here in the States, all you got to do is not cross salt. You can't cross salt. That's the only rule. Everything else is up for debate.
You fair game, haunt people, possess people, do whatever
Possess
you want.
people, whatever you fucking want.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh yeah, it's like a lot of, also has a lot to do with the number 4, because that's an unlucky number for them.
Who, the like ghost?
The Japanese,
Really?
like, yeah, Japanese culture. Didn't you notice that anytime something happened in this anime and like somebody would be possessed or something would happen to them, they're always in the 4th. Like,
No, I did
what's
not.
his name?
I did not pick up on that.
Like for instance, when Kichiru,
Okay.
he's in that contest where he runs, the ghost will only attack the person who's running at the 4th lane at 4 o'clock.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And yeah, there was another one where Leo, he makes a wish on this staircase that like a ghost will grant you a wish, but really it'll possess you and try to kill you. And all of them step on the stairs, but he's the only one on the 4th set of stairs.
Okay.
And so he's the one who gets like possessed and almost killed.
Whatever, ghost.
Yeah, there's also like this rule about I don't think they explained it in the anime, but I know in Japanese architecture, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I do know, I think it's if you can't build a toilet in the northwest corridor of your house, because if you do, a ghost will reach up and I guess put his fingers up your butt, grab your soul through your anus.
Give you a
I don't really
happy ending, whatever it is, right?
check your prostate. I don't know.
You're good for this year. I'll see you again later.
You might want to talk to a professional about this. Oh man.
Oh, the worst news ever. So Andrew, that's it for the creation of this show. Hit us with these wonderful voice actors.
All right. The voice cast for Ghost Stories are Hilary Hag is Satsuki Miyashita. Mayoshita. There we go. Monica Real is Momoko Koyagakubo. Chris Patton is Hajima Aoma. Greg Eris is Leo Kakaniko. Oh, wait, no. Kakanoki.
Okay.
One of those. Pick one. Christine M. Autumn is Kichiro Masachita. And finally, Rob Mungle is Amanojaku. Amanojaku, I think is how you say it.
Remember, they had to keep all the characters the same name.
So there is a plot, one could say.
Okay.
The plot is basically it focuses on a group of friends: Satsuki, Momoko, Hajima, Leo, and Kichiro. They Satsuki and Leo are brother and sister. No, it's Kichiro. Kichiro and Satsuki, they're brother and sister. They moved to a new town to go to a new school. And the school is haunted by a bunch of different ghosts. And hijinks ensue. So for like the first, so we're going to get into the show. Wait,
Yeah.
we didn't do their other works. Just kidding.
Come on, Andrew.
I know. Fucking, what's up with me today? So Hilary Hagg, her other works are Tomino Masharita in Megazone 23. Monica Ral is Bulma in Dragon Ball Super.
Ooh.
And Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
Chris Patton is Greed in Full Metal Alchemist.
Very nice.
Greg Eris is Ganta in Dead Man Wonderland. Christy M. Autumn is Izumi Curtis in Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
And finally, Rob Mungle is Goat Hori and Martin's successor, Nedesico.
Okay.
But, you know, we have already discussed the plot. But for like, I would say the first 10 to 15 minutes, this plays out like a normal anime. And
Yep.
you get just a tiny, tiny little hint. The first part where you're like, wait, what did he say? Is when the grandfather, so they go and move to their old house, their grandparents' house. And this guy is just like, I can't believe you're going to live here. And like the guy's like, well, you know, it's a good opportunity. And he looks at his wife and he goes, when this bitch croaks, I'm going straight to Vegas. And I was like, wait, what?
Like, what? Dude, the amount of times I was switching back and forth between the dub and the sub version just to see, like, okay.
Okay, so you watched it subbed. How did it compare? Is it like, I know it's a completely different show, but like
because the dub, it almost feels like it's a comedy with the dub.
Yeah.
The sub, it's serious. It's a serious anime.
It seems like a serious anime where you learn about their mother and the secrets she had, because they find a book about Ghost. And I assume it's, what was it? What does one of the characters say? She looks like a woman that I once saw in a homosexual reconversion camp or something like that.
Yeah, so like
a homosexual conversion camp. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the characters, these voice actors, when they came in, they really just built like, okay, this character is going to be super religious. This character is going to be stereotypical Jewish.
Yeah.
Like all of this stuff.
Kichiro is probably my favorite of all the voice characters in the dub, because when he gets upset, he just goes, and they drop the R word on him a lot.
all the time. Yep.
See, and then yeah, it's Momoko. She's the super Christian one. Every other word out of her mouth is like it just kind of reminds me of Mac from Always Sunny, because she's like through God. It's just I could definitely see her saying like, through God all things are possible. So jot that down.
Yeah, I could too. Yeah, she's just like, she always talks about the Bible and everything else. Yeah. I remember in maybe it was the second episode talking about some old lady, because like you said, they found like this one girl's mom or grandmother wrote a book about all the folklores and how to defeat the spirits. How to defeat
all the ghosts, right?
And it basically is just them defeating all the spirits. That's it.
Yeah, but like, even though they just say what the fuck ever, there's still a somewhat coherent plot to all of this.
Yeah, it's just the dialogue makes it completely bananas. But I think in the second episode, Momoko, she says something along the lines of, that old lady who was a lesbian, basically like practice witchcraft or something along those lines. But it's
in the first episode, they're doing a salt circle, I think, and Mamaoko is just like, please, Jesus, forgive me for participating in this satanic ritual. And like they go to the science lab, and Hajime is like, that's where all the Bunsen burners are, and he grabs something that's clearly not a Bunsen burner, and they're like, that's not a Bunsen burner. He goes, whatever. I think he calls like they drop the homophobic slurs.
Dude, no one is safe in this. This is
no stone is left unturned. If you have, I mean, I find offensive shit funny. I not proud of it, but I do. And I found myself like going like, that laugh when you hear something offensive and you're not supposed to laugh, where you're like, holy shit. Like that laugh. I found myself doing that a lot.
Dude, this show, because I was watching this show, had it kind of like playing on in the background while I was
it's a perfect
walking.
Background show.
It will cause you to just kind of catch these small little phrases, and you'll be like, oh, hold up, I gotta rewind this by like 10 or 30 seconds. What
it's almost like a very shitty like edgelord version of the Naked Gun, because none of the jokes are particularly clever, but because of the source material, it catches you off guard so much. Like when they were talking about, like, they're like the sports festival episode, they're like, we're gonna cancel the sports festival, and there goes Hajime is like, you can't cancel the sports festival. There's a poor little R-word boy who's just dreaming of running.
Here's one. We've already discussed the plot of this, but here's a quote from it. It's between Satsuki and Hajime. They travel back in time. Satsuki says, "Holy time machine, Batman. It's 1973." Then Hajime says, "Holy pre-Parkinson, Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future plot ripoff device. Where's my DeLorean? Pre-Parkinson, you are so shockingly hateful. I don't feel sorry for him. He was in Light of Day." Just...
Or like they talk, there's like one episode where they're just like, hey, like they're like, hey, are you guys here for the blah blah blah? I don't remember what it is, and I do remember Hajime goes, well, yeah, that's what this entire episode has been all about. And he goes, there's no time to break the third wall. He goes, it's fourth wall, you R word, F slur, and you're like, what the fuck? One of the most famous ones in the I know you can look up compilations of this on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But it's when they're Kichiro is running and they're just like, pretend a big giant black man is chasing you, and Kichiro falls over. He goes, well, at least he's not racist. And you're like, if that was off the top of your dome, like, I feel like I would love to like talk to one of these guys and be like, so what was this like? Or did they just show you the scene and they're like, okay, this is like the general plot. Like they'll say like, okay, the kids are helping Kichiro get ready for the sports festival. Go. And like they have nothing written down.
And they just like, all right,
they just off the top of the dome. And that, I feel like that's probably what happened.
Oh, it 100%. Like I said, I would love to just get like the making of this dub to really.
That would be a phenomenal, like a docuseries. That would be phenomenal.
Oh, I'm sure with this anime that. Because I don't even think they really expected this anime to become popular at all. Because everything I can see, it looks like, I don't even think it aired in the U.S. I think it might have. I think
it was like a joke. Like it was something you could get it on DVD in like the States, but it never.
It was like straight to DVD. Yeah. That's
it. It was just something like your friends were like, you've got to check this out.
Have you watched this?
Yeah, that's how I feel that this was. Because, this wasn't like old school. This isn't like how, even when we grew up, we had Toonami. Like, this wasn't going to show up on Toonami, obviously. No. Hell, I don't even think this would really make it on Adult Swim. Like, you could not put this on network television. Even in 2005 when this got dubbed, there's no way.
No way.
One of the voice actors does have one regret about this show. Okay, so Greg Aris expresses his regret that the Mel Gibson Jew rant hadn't happened just a few weeks after production had wrapped up. He would have loved to incorporated that into the final episode. So it's just like, no, he didn't regret anything that he said or did in the anime. He goes, oh man, that would have been perfect. And it's just.
That would, I wish he would have went on this rant 6 months earlier.
If only it had been sooner with this anti-Semitism. Now, I will say, if I had watched this in 2005, I would have definitely been on team, what's the big fucking deal? I hadn't had my like social awakening of like, words hurt sometimes. But I still find it funny. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys that I did not laugh my ass off when they said something just completely out of left field.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's comedy.
It's also, you can appreciate it for the time it was and the work they put into it to make it entertaining, because this wouldn't have done anything without this dub. This would have been nothing.
Oh no, yeah, no one, everything I can see, no one, I don't even think people realize that there was another version of this called the sub.
It's harder to find. Than it's harder to find than the dub. The sub is harder to find than the dub. Like the dub is the one that everyone knows and everyone loves, I guess we could say.
Everyone loves the dub. Dude, the sub's on Crunchyroll. You can watch like you can just change the settings.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On Crunchyroll. Yeah,
it's just, the dub is really funny. I will say a little bit of it goes a long way. I wouldn't recommend watching this, but I would recommend watching like a compilation of the best hits on YouTube, because it's like after a while you're like, okay, I get it. Like it's offensive. Like that's really, I guess, the biggest problem with offensive humor. Once you really set back and you look at it, you're like, this is just a one note joke.
But they was not. when
No,
this
they're
thing
not.
came out, they wasn't making this to be offensive. They
No.
just made it to be funny.
Yeah, no,
That's
this is peak 2005 humor. I'm not saying
Yep.
that it's not funny. I'm just saying that like this is not something that you could this is not a binge-worthy comedy series. This is like you're like this is getting old very
It
fast.
It's I watched 2 episodes back to back. After 2 episodes, I was like, okay, I need a break.
Yeah,
Like,
you get it. Like that's
Yeah,
what
it's
that's kind of
funny.
what I mean.
but the overall story, everything else in it, it's not great. The only good thing about this, like you said, is the dialogue. And hey, you can just find probably a 15-minute compilation on YouTube.
That's
for it.
really all you need.
there you go.
Like just like a best hits of like the off the wall shit they say. Like just
Yep.
to watch it, absolutely not.
No.
So I believe this leaves us with your new reoccurring segment, Joel. Reviews that got possessed and reviews that impress.
Ooh, nice, Andrew.
Thank you. I knew I was going to use the word possession today.
Been thinking
Sometimes
about it all day.
before we record, I kind of enjoy that we record when my son goes to bed, just because like I have all day to be like, okay, what am I going to call the new recurring segment?
Andrew's got a whiteboard in his office coming up with like all these like different names, just crossing them
I
out.
wish I had it. It's more like, okay,
Andrew's room looks like a serial killer's room. It's just got a bunch of sticky notes all over.
it's that episode of Always Sunny where Charlie's trying to find Pepe Sylvia.
Pepe Sylvia. I go
Pepe
down to
Sylvia.
HR and I'm like, Carol. I love Mac's response. Not only do all those people exist, they've been up there wondering where the mill's at. So Andrew, this thing has an 8 out of 10 rating on
I mean,
IMDb.
that makes sense because you're not watching it for the animation. You're not really watching it for the overall plot. You're watching it because you're like, this people have told you through word of mouth, this dub is absolutely ridiculous and funny and offensive. And it's just, yeah, I could see how that got an 8 out of 10 big time.
So this review, I could not find any 1-star reviews. They were
that also
only
checks out.
Yeah, there were only like 8, 9, and 10. So I found a 10 for you. This was posted in 2022. So there are still people to this day going back and watching it. But it's titled Hilarious. Between the 80s, 90s, and early 2000 references, and the way the characters just be coming at each other, this is the best anime I've seen humor-wise. Dub version, of course. And then there's a quote from the show. And the quote is, "As much as I want it, we can never be together. It's not because you're a rabbit. It's because you're black."
Fuck. And that's pretty tame.
Yeah, like
all other stuff they say.
this show is just wild.
Yeah. What would you say your closing thoughts on this are?
Just watch. Honestly, if you just want to bear through it and watch the whole anime, go for it. But really, just watch the compilations of some of the best quotes in it. You'll get all you need from this anime at that point.
I agree. It's definitely something that like you don't need to watch all 20 episodes. It's not that funny. It's not that funny when you watch it like back to back. This is definitely something like you watch like 2 or 3 of them occasionally. Maybe you're baked. I feel like I should have taken an edible. That would have really. I do know the one negative aspect of this is, or the one negative review that I saw. Most people commented that the animation looked dated, even in 2005.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think they knew it was an anime from like 1994.
Well, the anime was released in 2000. There was a TV, a live action TV show in 1994. But
But
even for 2000, it still looks a little rough.
It looked 90s. That's why I thought, it looks very 90s. So if you want a 90s looking anime where they say anything is on the table and almost all of it is surprising, then check out Ghost Stories.
Yep.
I mean, if you have Crunchyroll in between whatever you're watching right now, give it a shot.
Yep. Hey, if you like the roast of Tom Brady, if you thought that was funny, you'll probably find this funny.
Yeah, if you like any of the roasts, definitely. But I believe that wraps up Ghost Stories. If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have a $5 tier that gets you bonus episodes, extended audio episodes, access to our Discord, and pins and stickers and more mailed right to your door. We have a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can request a cartoon, anime, or two things to go head to head in our junkyard brawl. We have an X handle, Cartoon DD. We are Cartoon Dumpster Dive on all other social media platforms. And as always, we appreciate a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice, along with answering Spotify questions, positive or negative. I always appreciate it. We always appreciate it.
Yep.
And so if you do that, we will keep making podcasts, and maybe one day we'll come out with an offensive dub. Have a great rest of your week.
See you.
Joel?
Yep.
I can't hear anything.
This has been a Lughole podcast.